really we were trying to make each and every single player the best athlete they can be, because that's really what the emphasis was from January to March. We had 32 weightlifting sessions, getting themselves bigger, faster, and stronger, and getting themselves to be the best athlete they can possibly be, so that once we get to the football field, they can become the best player they can possibly be. And make no mistake, we've been preaching it. If you're not in the weight room, if you're not making yourself as big and as fast and as strong as you possibly can, you're not going to be as good of a football player as you can. So they've done a really great job. I mean, day in, day out, we have 70 guys right now on the roster. 56 haven't missed a lift, and I think only 3 guys have missed more than one. Guys are going to get with the program or they're going to get left behind, and I think they're starting to realize that.
Well, you say program right there, and I think that's an important word. How much of it has been just these guys recognizing that regardless of who the coach is, they just kind of have to own what they do?
Again, that's the only thing they can control. If they're worrying about who the coach is going to be or when a coach is going to be named or when spring practice is going to start, they're not focusing on what can make them better at the moment. They're not where they feed off. And we've continually preached that. Our coaching staff, we're got a little bit fewer coaches than we've had before, but the guys that we still have are doing a great job keeping in touch with our guys, making sure they're in the classroom, making sure that the grades are right, that there's going to be no issues there. And then again, just becoming the best athlete each kid can possibly be. And I have to tip my hats to them, man. They put their head down, haven't asked many questions, and are just going about their work, and it's pretty awesome to see.
Yeah, you guys 8-2 overall last year, 5-1 in conference play, and just miss the playoffs there. I know coaching changes can be weird, but with as many guys as you have coming back, how much should fans expect things to stay the same in terms of system and what they see out on the playing field?
As long as I'm here, you're not going to see much different than you've seen in the last 2 years. I think we've really turned the program around. The first 2 winning seasons since I think 93, 94, the 94 season, the first winning season since 96. I mean, there's been a lot of great things done over here over the past 2 years, and we've got to continue to improve. We're nowhere near where we want to be, but we're definitely ahead of where we've been in the past. Now it's just come down time to get into spring football, get those guys out there honing the skills with the same schemes and systems that they've been a part of. Should be fun. With a lot of returning guys should be able to play really fast and get the install in fairly quickly. And I'm just excited to get out there and finally start coaching some football again, man, to be honest with you.
I can imagine. And just going to the changes that we've seen all over college football, transfer portal, NIL, really the transfer portal is something you guys have been very used to there at the Division II level, because just the free transfer, right, coming down to Division II from D1 and then transferring back up. It's what we've seen from a lot of guys, right? The Cam Newtons of the world start at Florida, transfer out, and then transfer back to an Auburn. So you feel like you guys were a little bit more well-equipped to kind of handle something that a lot of coaches from around the country aren't?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. We've got a pretty full roster, to be honest with you. And I've made it a point since I've been the head coach, is we're going to recruit high school student athletes from around the 912 area, and we're going to give them opportunity to play college football, come in here, develop, possibly be impact freshmen, but if not, develop them in the weight room, develop them on the field, and maybe be a player 2 to 3 years down the road. Now, there's always going to be a possibility to bring in a transfer or two and a guy where we may need to feel we need to bolster a certain position. But I don't want fans to be going into every new season wondering, hey, man, where's this guy from? Where's that guy from? This is the first time we've seen it on the field. I want there to be some continuity. I want the fans to know who they're watching, say, oh, man, I remember he had a great sophomore year. I'm glad he's back for his junior year. Not just guys that are one and done. Again, they have their place, but we're really trying to focus on the high school student athlete and then progress them and improve them into being the best possible football player they can. And it's something that's worked for us around here. We're going to continue to do it while still keeping an eye on that transfer portal to see if there's anybody that can come in and be an immediate impact player for us.
Yeah, and I know a lot of coaches say it, but the football team's the front porch of the university, right? And trying to pack out that stadium does nothing but benefit the rest of the athletics at the school. And if you have guys who have played in Savannah or around the area for their entire high school career, and they have family and friends that can come and watch them play, like you said, instead of just for 2-3 years in college, they could be guys who play in Savannah, in coastal Georgia for 8 years of their life.
No doubt. I mean, it's special, and we want to make that a staple of the Savannah State football program, is that we're taking the best kids from around the surrounding area and we're bringing them here, and we're keeping fans here and getting them over to the game. And it's possible for those fans, those parents of players, maybe somebody that was a coach of a player, to come see them play, because almost all of our games are within 5 hours. I mean, that's not really heard of, anywhere in any division. So, it's a unique opportunity for people, especially for people in Savannah and the 912 area. And, I think they're on board, and I think they fully support what we're doing, and they just want to continue to see us grow and improve. And, like I said, 8-2 is great, but we still didn't reach our goals. We want to be undefeated in conference. We want to get a chance to play in that conference championship game, and then we want to make the playoffs. And that's going to be something that's going to start to be, hopefully, a consistency around here at Savannah State.
Savannah State head coach Russell DeMasi, kind enough to hop on with us here as they're getting ready to kick off spring practice. Now, transfer portal works both ways. You have a few guys that have transferred out of the program, taking what they viewed just as some better opportunities to move forward in their football career. You lose D'Angelo Durham, who's just been a stalwart at running back for you guys for the past few years, then Anijah Carter, who is just lightning in a bottle and been a big part of the offense the last couple of years. Who are some guys that you're looking to step up and replace them?
No, just starting off at running back, man, we were almost a running back. D'Angelo was the lead guy, but we were running back by committee last year. And, Shamarcus Poole, when he played, a lot of the times when it was his turn, he got hurt on one of the first two series in two different games where he was going to be the lead guy because something was going on with D'Angelo. He's an explosive player. He's a guy who thinks that can take it to the house, on almost any single play. Really excited to see his development. He's a weight room guy. I mean, he is in there day in, day out. He had some incredible increases in bench, squat, and power clean. One of the leaders of the guys in the weight room. So super, super excited about him. Jordan Grant, another local guy. We're going to do a little bit more with him this year. He's a really versatile guy. He can catch the ball out of the backfield as well as running between the tackles. So you might see him lining up the slot, lining up, in the backfield. He can even line up out wide. He's done so many different things. And people from around here know him because, he's a quarterback at Savannah Christian, a slot back at BB, and just played all over the field. He's a guy that we're going to really count on. And then Trenton Johnson's a guy last year, a freshman, played sparingly, but we all knew what type of player he was going to become. I mean, he's 6'2", 210 pounds, and he's not shying away from anybody, man. People trying to come and tackle him, they better be physical because he's low, he plays low, and he's a guy that we're just going to hand the football off to and ride. And then last, a guy that just made it back academically was Amin Stevens, and people around here know him well from those really good Jenkins teams under Coach Cameron. And 2 springs ago, man, he showed us a lot in the spring game. I think you guys were at that one. He's coming back, and he looks in better shape. He's lost about 15 pounds since the last time he played football. He'll have an opportunity to be special over the next couple of years. And then replacing Enaj, like I said, it's going to be by committee, but there's 2 guys behind him, the local guys, Marquell Brown and Randy Scott. Marquell from Savannah Christian and Randy Scott from Effingham County. They're both dynamic and they're playmakers. And it was tough to get them on the field last year, because they're playing behind an All-American. But I have no doubt in my mind they'll continue to progress, and we'll try not to skip a beat and, get the players out there and get them ready and be ready to go in the fall. But also, we haven't had a player enter the transfer portal since we came back for workouts in January. So the first time we got back with the players after Coach Quinn left and I was named interim, we haven't had a single guy that's been at weight to go into the transfer portal. Most of those guys were just uncertain of what was going to happen, wanting to go in the transfer portal and find out what opportunities they can. If something arose and, you've seen what happened with Enos Carter, obviously. But don't be surprised if there's a few of those guys, next year that come back out of the portal and still in a Savannah State uniform.
Russell DeMasi on with us here, head coach there at Savannah State. What does the practice schedule look like for you guys coming up in spring? When do you guys start spring practice, and when is the spring game?
Okay, still a little tentative, but next week we're supposed to start Tuesday. We'll be going 4 days a week for 3 straight weeks. It's usually going to be Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, but the first week we have to go Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. All practices will be from 8 to 10 a.m., except for the first practice. The first practice will be from 7 to 9 a.m. Right after practice, we'll bring the guys into the football coaching offices and getting them signed up for classes. The first day they can sign up for fall classes. So I had to bump that up a little bit. And then the spring game will be April 22nd at 5 p.m. But again, still some things we're working on. Got a few volunteers that we have helping us that we got to still iron out some details with. But again, can't wait to see the guys flying around the field whenever we get out there.
And obviously the news today, everyone has seen it that follows the program. You're currently the interim head coach, and Savannah State has named the 4 finalists. I'm just curious for you, during the conversations and what you can share with us with the administration, what has been your pitch about yourself and about this coaching staff retaining and having that interim title removed?
Well, I'm a guy that's been here, and I think I've proven that I want to be at Savannah State. One of the things that I know they want is they don't want a guy that's looking to, use it as a stepping stone. And I can tell you right now, being a guy from Savannah, that's not what I'm about. This is the place I want to be. I've recruited most of these student athletes. I've got a recruiting class coming in, and I have a great relationship with the players. You're always going to have, some guys that don't really like coach here or there, but I can tell you this: for the majority of our guys, I have a great relationship, and they want this thing to continue. They want to continue the success they've had the past 2 years. And what better way to do that than keeping continuity and keeping coaching staff as well as the head coach that's been on the prior staff in those winning seasons. And, I continue to try and explain to them that I'm here for the student athletes. That's my number one focus. I don't have a personal agenda. My number one goal is to make sure each and every student athlete is their health and safety is first and foremost, making sure that if they're in the program for 4 years, that they're getting the degree, making sure that they have the best opportunity on and off the field and be ready for life after football. And I think that's what you want in a coach. I think that's what you want in a head coach, is a guy who cares about the people around him and is not looking elsewhere all the time. And I just continue to try and harp on that. That's me. I'm the guy right in front of you. And I want to be here for the long haul. And I want to continue to grow this program, see this program succeed. And, not just keep it a winning program, but I want to turn it into a national championship contending program.
Russell, before I let you go, man, I have to apologize. I owe you a big apology. I hit you without meaning to, and I'll explain here. I, for those of you who don't know, run ESPN Coastal social media as well as hosting this show, and I like to support the athletes from the community, and especially the athletes that are from this community and then have gone on to do great things. One of those athletes recently that we kind of put a old throwback tape together from his high school days was Alan Bailey. For those of you who are listening and don't know, played at McIntosh County Academy and was about a 260, 270 pound inside linebacker running back that could run probably 4.5, 4.6, and was just dominating. And I put up his Max Preps tape, and one of the guys on there happened to be a Savannah Christian quarterback who got decapitated. Dude, I did not know that was you, and I'm sorry.
And I got to be honest, when I saw that film, I remembered the hit. And, it took me a second to get up from that. When I was on that film a couple of times, he batted down the ball on me first and the second or third play of the film. And then, man, I guess I made a misread, and he came off that edge, and he tackled both the running back.
Is it a misread when you're playing Alan Bailey?
Yeah, I guess I could give myself a pass on that one, but you know me. I expect to win no matter who I'm going against. But let's just say Alan got me on that one.
Who is he the freakiest player you ever played against?
He was an awesome player. But to be honest, his teammate, Jeremy Height, who actually tore his ACL against us his senior year, was one of the most phenomenal players that we ever played against. So I would say probably the top two are those two players, Alan Bailey, Jeremy Height, and then, the quarterback, Dwight Dasher from Charlton County. Those three just always stuck out to me as guys that had a chance to play at the next level. And I'll never forget watching them growing up.
Second Down is your home of early 2000s South Georgia football talk, and it will always will be. Russell, we appreciate the time, brother. Look forward to talking to you as you guys dive into spring practice, man. And where our support lies. We hope we're talking to you for the next 10, 20 years right here about Savannah State football, man.
Hey, man, that's what I want, and we'll just leave it in hands. Whatever happens, it'll all be all right. And I just want our players to keep on putting their head down and keep on working. And I just appreciate the support from you guys and all the community, man. And I appreciate it. Go Tigers.
Absolutely. Russell DeMasi, head football coach there at Savannah State. We got more to come here on Second Down. We'll be back after this. Second Down on ESPN Radio is presented to you by the Uniform Source. Christian Gokel, glad to have you hanging out with us here on this Friday afternoon. The guys up in Athens in the midst of spring practice right now. Just a ton of jobs open right now on that Georgia team that is losing a ton of talent to the NFL and to graduation. And maybe, just maybe, if you listen to the folks out there who are covering Georgia on a daily basis, we may have a little bit of a quarterback controversy on our hands, and from a guy we weren't really expecting to hear from in terms of pushing for some one reps, and a guy who apparently is splitting some time with Stetson Bennett there with the ones. But Kirby Smart spoke to the media about the team so far during these spring practices, and like you would expect, a team that's dealing with a lot of attrition, a lot of guys moving on, there's going to be some bumps in the road. And so we're going to go through, listen to some of these audio clips from Kirby Smart's press conference. First, though, we'll start with the positivity. Georgia is losing a lot of wide receiver talent, a lot of pass catching talent. You got some injuries right now. You got George Pickens moving on to the draft. But a guy who Georgia fans have been waiting to hear from a while, Dominic Blaylock, apparently is about ready to make his return. Kirby Smart spoke on the wide receiver who is coming back from an ACL.
He's doing well. He's been pretty consistent. The off-season program was good for him in terms of getting confidence, change of direction, doing some things well. You know, I think he'd be the first to tell you he's still rusty, but he's so confident with the ball in his hands. He catches the ball really well. He's smart. He's very savvy route runner in the slot. He's done a tremendous job there. He's been back catching punts as well, and you know, he brings some veteran experience. Really, right now, at receiver, anybody with experience is a veteran because we don't have many guys with a lot of experience there. But he's done a tremendous job. You know, Dom never complains. He just works, and he handles the cards he's been dealt really well. And he's dealt with some really tough resiliency, but he has overcome it. And
so biggest thing I take away from that is, number one, there's a person furiously typing tweets away inside of that press conference, but also looking at Georgia's wide receiving group next year, I think it's going to be a little bit better than a lot of people out there give it credit for. Number one, A.D. Mitchell is going to be the guy that's going to be your X, kind of filling into that George Pickens role like he did for a majority of last season. But Kearis Jackson's also back, right? Ladd McConkey had a hell of a football season last year and showed off that he just has burning speed. And then you have a guy like Dominic Blaylock, who was awesome as a freshman, was the better of the two receivers between him and George Pickens as a freshman. If he can come back and he can get back to that form and be a leader on that offense with that tight end group of Brock Bowers, of Darnell Washington, Oscar Delp coming in to join in as well. Did have some injuries there yesterday, none to those three, but still a little bit of a hit to an already pretty limited group. That could be a pretty deep pass catching group, depending on who's back there throwing the football to them. We'll have to wait to see on that, but still a lot of guys out there, a lot of talent. Now, flipping it over to the other side of the football, one of the biggest parts of this team you're going to have to replace is not only just the players, but the leadership that into Kobe Dean and that Quay Walker and Channing Tindall brought to that inside linebacker group. Kirby Smart was asked about Jamon Dumas-Johnson. He actually gives you the nickname that they're calling him at practice now, but one of the guys that is going to have to step up and have to replace a historically good group of inside linebackers at Georgia. Kirby Smart was asked about that inside linebacker group.
For us, so Pop's done a good job. He's getting opportunity. That's the biggest thing I would say. I mean, you could make the case that he's probably where all those guys were. Quay, Channing, and Kobe. It's their second year, kind of starting their second year when really he's still in his first year, if you really want to look at it in the grand scheme of things. I mean, this is a young man that didn't play football his senior year due to COVID. So he came in a little heavy, and he'll be the first to tell you he was too heavy when he first got here. He'd not played a season, so he was rusty, but he helped on special teams, played some time in games when we had leads. But he's trying to take on a leadership role. There's a real big void, in this common theme you'll hear. There's a void there because of all the guys that left and also the guys injured. I got a lot of respect for Tresman trying to push through a tough knee injury, and he's been out there trying to get reps. The two freshmen, Jalen Walker and C.J. Washington, are pushing through. And then Sori's another guy that really almost has zero experience because he didn't get to play inside linebacker much in high school. So all of those guys collectively, they have talent, they don't have experience. And the only way to get experience is time. Well, I think he can grow. He took a lot of the one reps.
And Kirby Smart saying it there. Only way to get experience is time. And really, again, you have 5-star after 5-star after 5-star stacked on top of each other. It's just going to be who steps up, who fills in. But there's a ton of talent there on that Georgia defense, but you're replacing maybe the greatest Georgia defense of all time. There's going to be some bumps in the road. There's going to be a pretty steep learning curve. Now, a guy coming back for his 6th year, wouldn't feel like there's too many learning curves left for him. But Kirby Smart says Stetson Bennett still has a ton of work that he can do to get better. He was asked where Stetson Bennett can improve.
Well, I think he can grow. He took a lot of the one reps from whatever point it was last year moving forward. In terms of leadership, we probably we're still working on that. We're not where we need to be in terms of leadership, guys challenging guys. I thought it was really good on Saturday in terms of leadership, and then things got a little tough out there today. Whether you call it 2 days off, I don't know. I can't say it was hot. I mean, it felt mighty good to me, but we didn't have the level of practice I would expect. And you would think that whether it's the quarterback, the receiver, whoever the leaders are, they're going to stand up and push the guys. And we probably didn't get what we needed out of that today. I was a little disappointed in the practice.
Kirby Smart, a little disappointed in the effort there in the beautiful 75-degree weather right now in March, Georgia. But again, Stetson Bennett, whoever it is, wide receivers, DBs, looking for those leaders to step up on this team that was led by the Nakobe Deans, led by the Channing Tindalls and the Jordan Davises last year, looking for that leadership to step up and kind of putting that there on Stetson Bennett. Now, a guy who is in a really interesting situation because it seems like he may have already reached the penultimate moment of his career where you have a guy like Kelee Ringo. He has the interception, the pick six that's going to live in Georgia fans' minds forever. And he still has a whole career in front of him that he has to go out there and get himself to where he wants to be, which he's already been projected as a top 10 pick in the not this NFL draft, but the 2023 NFL draft. He still has a whole season in front of him. And Kirby Smart was asked, how does Kelee Ringo deal with that? Where you have that moment, you're going to be in paintings hanging in people's houses and their bathrooms all over the place. You're on posters. Sure, somebody has a tattoo of that somewhere. How do you deal with that? Kirby Smart was asked what advice he has for his young DB.
It's hard for me to answer that because I first of all, I don't think that play won the game. I know people may beg to differ, but I would argue the offensive drive prior to that did a lot to help that. I would argue that a lot of the plays made in the red area did that. I never look at a game and say one play did it because it's not really that way. There's so many plays that were made in that game that you could point that to. Now, what he can't do is let that play distract or deter his development. Because he'll be the first to tell you, he made an outstanding play, a play that'll live in lore and do great. But he also had some plays in that game that weren't so good. He had some tackle situations he knows he's got to improve on. And what makes me most proud of Kelee is he's taking it out there to the field, and he's really working on the physical part and being a better tackler. He's playing with more confidence. If anything, that play gives him a little more confidence to play with, where most of the year he was working on that confidence. He was a guy that, teams went after probably more than they went after DK, and he had a chance to make some plays, and he's starting to get some confidence. But, he can let that play live in infamy and live off of that play, or he can decide, you know what, I'm going to make a lot of those plays, and I want to be a great player, and I want to go make money and play in the NFL and develop. And I think that's the route he's taking. I know this. He's going to get a lot of encouragement from me to make sure that he does that. And the one thing I'll say is so far he's done that. Like I push Kelee because I know that he can be a really good player, and he hasn't run away from that coaching or turn his nose up or not handle it the right way. If anything, he's trying to take on a leadership role.
So again, an update there from Athens as Georgia in the midst of their spring practice, trying to come back and defend the 2021 national championship, and a ton of storylines, ton of jobs open for grab right now there at Georgia. We got to take a quick break. We're going to come back, catch up with Gaurav Vidak, talk a little Braves baseball. Just a few weeks away from opening day. Another team trying to defend their championship. We'll break it down with Gaurav Vidak next, right here on ESPN Radio. listen, in sports, you have to be willing to adjust. You got to be agile. You have to be, I don't know about mobile or hostile, but you have to be able to adjust. You have to be fluid. You have to be water, like Bruce Lee said, right? And so when your starting quarterback goes down, you got to find your Tom Brady.
But you are the starting quarterback.
Yeah, you got to find your Tom Brady. No, I am the Bill Belichick in this situation. And Gaurav Vidak was my, what was his name? Who's the one who got hurt?
Billy Vaughn?
No.
No, it was oh, you're gonna put me on the spot here on a
I
Friday.
can see his face.
It was Drew Bledsoe.
Drew Bledsoe. I can't talk. It's Friday. I'm almost done. Leave me alone. But anyway, Gaurav was my Drew Bledsoe. He's ghosting me. And so now you're Tom Brady.
Well,
you're about as old as him.
I can give you 10 championships real quick.
Are you as old as Tom Brady?
He's got me by a little bit, I think.
Maybe
I am older. I don't know. We're about the same age. Let's just.
Are you 45?
No, not yet. No.
Okay, cool.
He is older than me.
So you're a young buck.
Yeah.
And Tom Brady's an old buck, like literally Buccaneer. But I figured if I can't have Gaurav Vidak on, Braves expert, I'd bring in our own in-house expert, Kevin Thomas.
Well, build me up.
Pill you out of a show meeting.
Yes.
But I mean, okay, the best way I can explain this to folks is, and I didn't realize this until 2020 when COVID shut everything down, and the first, college basketball was the first thing I got hit by this, but the second thing that really got hit by it was the start of baseball season.
Right.
Kevin Thomas loves baseball like a majority of us love football.
I do.
Like, you are weird. We'll watch YouTube videos on it. We'll go back and watch highlight tapes on your phone. I was
watching all the ejections from 2021. I love seeing dudes get thrown out.
So Kevin loves baseball as much as any of us out there love football, and big time Braves fan.
Yep.
And excited.
Should be.
I'm curious because we haven't really had a chance to talk about this. Emotionally, how did you deal with the breakup with Freddie Freeman?
I didn't take it as bad as apparently a lot of people did. Like, that were, getting butthurt on social media. I was like,
wow.
Well, I mean, they are. I mean, there's people that still can't let this thing go. And I'm like, look, it went on for this was over a year process. And by all accounts, the Braves were saying, hey, we're making a deal. And again, I think I felt differently the way all the information came out. Like, had it just been Freddie goes to the Dodgers, I'd have been like, man, well, come on. But the way all the information has come out, where it's like, in the light of day, the Braves made you a very competitive offer. It wasn't like it was considerably worse. You were hung up on 1 year. And meanwhile, you're professing all this love for, I love the Braves, this is my team, and this and that. Well, when you get to that situation, as Chipper Jones said, if Freddie Freeman wants to be a Brave, he will be a Brave. And as a fan, I don't take it back. I would say, okay, he obviously didn't want to be a Brave bad enough. I won't say he won't be a Brave. He didn't want to be a Brave. I would say he didn't want to be a Brave bad enough because he played a hand. His agent said, hey, we got this hand to play. And the Braves said, you know what? We've been playing this game for a while. Are you going to make a decision? Like, spring training starting. Like, we need to know something. And I know Freddie's like, they only called me twice. I guarantee you they called his agency more than twice. Maybe not him specifically, but in the light of day, they gave you a fair deal, and you chose to not give an answer. And so the Braves said, well, we can't play this game any longer. Matt Olson, come over here. Here's your $8 million. So all that money we were going to give Freddie, it's yours. Go ahead. And Freddie sitting there going, what just happened? And that happens in life where sometimes you're like, you wait, and the deal's gone.
Yeah.
And I think that's what happened. So I feel bad that Freddie's gone. It's gross seeing him in Dodger blue. I don't feel bad for him.
Does he feel like Darth Vader?
No, but I don't feel bad for him either, because I think that was one of the things that got me in all of that was I never really had the hate for Freddie Freeman going to the Dodgers, but I was like, you come out and you're like, I was just struck. I didn't talk to anybody for 2 hours. It's like, when you had a deal on the table, you could have signed it. In fact, they were waiting for you. Like the Braves were sitting here telling your agent, like, and then apparently your agent calls and said, hey, you got 2 hours to decide. And Alex Anthopoulos says, okay. I mean, we told you what our offer was. We'll go get medals.
Can I ask you an important question? When you describe someone as butthurt,
yeah,
what part of the butt hurts?
All of it. Every last bit of it.
Is it like
top, all the way to the kind of curved under part? All of it.
What about interior?
Probably,
Oh,
very much so.
That's painful.
Breakups tend to be that way.
They do. They do. All right, so let's do my favorite game. Ronald Acuna is not going to be back till May, is what everything's pushing towards.
No, well, they said
Oh,
May,
God.
they said May 1st of May playing in the field.
So he could be hitting
So
prior to that.
I take that as potentially could be DHing in April at some point.
Okay, so but let's go with Ronald's not playing until May.
Okay,
Or let's just go opening day.
sure.
How does Kevin Thomas see this new Braves lineup looking? And not really that new because a lot of familiar faces back, but with a DH in it on opening day, 1 through 9. What does Kevin Thomas see?
DH I think remains to be seen. I think you'll have some
1 through 9.
I will say, do you want me to do the batting order? Or just how
Yeah,
it looks in the field? I would say what they've been doing the last couple of days might be a good barometer where you're probably gonna have Rosario hitting leadoff, Albies, Matt Olson.
Do you go Ozuna or you go Riley?
Batting Riley behind Ozuna, so I'll say Ozuna, Austin Riley, batting 5th. That would leave me with 4 more spots.
Duval, Darno,
Probably Duval, Darno. I don't know who's going to be the DH. I think there's a guy in camp, Dickerson, who could DH while Acuna's out 8th. And then I think it's pretty well assumed that Dansby Swanson is going to bat 9th and kind of give you that extra leadoff guy at the bottom of the order. And so that's how I would see it. I think when I said DH is to be settled, I think there's some guys that are going to be bench players on this team that'll DH while they're waiting for
Or could we see like Heredia in the field and Ozuna
DH.
DH?
Yeah, they very, very much could. And again, I think the Braves will do something like that. I think you and I might have been talking about this yesterday afternoon, where I think a lot of the National League teams, because they just have been built to have, hey, I got to have a bench of guys that can play. Like I can't just be an American League team where there's
no big poppies on NL teams.
Right. You haven't really had a guy where it's like, you're just here to hit. I mean, you did have maybe Kung Fu Panda a little bit last year, where it's like, you're going to pinch hit.
Yeah, that lasted for like 2 weeks.
Right. I understand it, but most of the time, National League teams just don't have players like that. So I think what a lot of National League teams are going to do is, if you're a team like the Braves, when Acuna comes back, is I could very well see Acuna getting some DH love, Ozuna getting a lot of DH love because they don't like his defense. Adam Duvall in a traditional, hey, he could use a day off spot, getting thrown a DH in there. So I think a lot of National League teams are not going to have that, hey, this guy's our DH for 160 games. Like I think you're going to see a little and kind of use it as an off day to keep guys fresh, where it's like, hey, you're not playing in the field, but you're going to still hit. So I could definitely see them doing that. And I think they're going to. I think Ozuna starts once they have the full complement. Ozuna will be your primary DH because his defense isn't that great. But I could see them rotating Acuna, especially with the knees and stuff, and say, hey, Ronnie, today you're only hitting. And he still gets to play, but he doesn't have to play in the field.
Just kind of save the legs.
You get to be a non-baseball player today. You just be a hitter.
Does that change like the Gold Glove? Does that change the Gold Glove race at all? When you got guys just sitting out every third day?
I mean, it depends on how much you do that. But I'm not saying it's like a straight rotation, but I wouldn't be surprised if once he's healthy, if you still don't see Acuna, and I'm going to say once he's healthy from the time he plays in the field, if he doesn't
do you feel like
10 or 12 times the rest of the season, I wouldn't be surprised.
Do you feel like the Braves need another bat?
No, I actually think this lineup's good.
Once Acuna's back.
Yeah, once Acuna's back, I think the lineup is good. I think this is a team that's going to hit. And
because as soon as one of those guys goes down, then all of a sudden we're back to what Dickerson as the DH.
And he's a guy that can hit a little bit. But I look at this team and say you have to get out of the National League mindset. Whereas
I just want to know where Jock Peterson's going, man.
Not to the Braves.
Why?
Because they don't want him. I guess they don't need him. I think the Braves are holding back money right now. Honestly, they're going to see how the pitching staff shakes up and save money towards the trade deadline. If you need more starting pitching, you have that money sitting there to go make that move.
So right now, the only 2 starters we know of that are going to be there to begin the season, at least that opening series, are Max Fried and Ian Anderson.
Well, I think they said Charlie Morton is progressing nicely. They think he could be ready by.
Yeah, but think he could be ready scares the hell out of me in baseball.
Well, I understand that, but he has been pitching, although he's not been pitching in the quote major league spring training games. He is still apparently doing his starts back there on the minor league field. So
how scared are you that Kyle Wright's going to be like the 4th starter?
Not that bad. I think again, this is a team that if I'm pitching for this team, I should be pitching with a lot of confidence. Why? Because my offense can score me runs.
And you got a damn good defense.
And and you're great defensively. And if you turn, and really, they're not asking me to go out here and be Clayton Kershaw. I don't need to go 7-8 innings. Get me to 5, get me to 6. If I have the lead, I'm probably going to get a win out of it and continue from there. So, but I also think you have Kyle Wright. Sean Newcomb said he wants to start. Kyle Muller, Spencer Strider. Waskar Inoa. You have 5 or 6 guys that are back there competing for spots. So it's not like.
Is Tukey just done?
I think there's a spot for him somewhere. I just don't know as a starter if it might be the long relief guy. And I know he wants to start, but kind of like Sean Newcomb's like, well, if you want to start, you're going to have to do something other than what you've been doing. You're going to have to take that next step.
All right.
And get to another level.
Most important question of the day. Who's your closer?
Well, they already said who the closer is, Kenley Jansen.
So poor Will Smith just
no.
Because all I heard last year was Brian Snicker saying, "Hey, Will Smith's our closer. He gets the job done."
He is, but the reason I say that is they specifically went to Will Smith and said, "Do you mind if we bring in Kenley Jansen to be the closer?" And he said, "No, I want to."
And Will Smith said, "Do those checks still cash?"
Yeah. Hey, am I still getting paid? Yep. Okay. I do think, given the way Brian Snicker uses his bullpen a lot, where he is kind of by the book. Day in, day out, I'm going to use this guy, and I think he gets prone to a lot of overuse out of those guys. I do think having that flexibility where if Kenley Jansen's pitched 2-3 days in a row, okay, fine, I'll just slap Will Smith out there, and he can close. You have Luke Jackson, who's closed. Mentor is closed a little bit. Tyler Matzik hasn't, but he probably could. So you feel like you've got at least 4 guys who have closed before, and I think this bullpen is going to be amazing. I really do. And again, gives you options and flexibility, which I like. I know more people like the rigid. This is my closer. I like flexibility.
Listen, we missed the days of Eric O'Flaherty 7, Johnny Venters 8, Craig Kimbrell 9. Look, we had structure. We knew what to expect.
It is, but
maybe if we needed a 6, it was Peter Moylan.
But what do we do in sports a lot of times when you get in that in this age of specialization? And you're a football guy. You got to change something up. Right? Hey, they know on 3rd down, especially when we're trying to do this. Let's run one little wrinkle and do it. Okay, we're expecting AJ Minter to come in. Nope, we're not going to do that. We're going to go this way. I think when you go to that same kind of thing every day, if I'm on the opposing team, it's like, okay, it's the 7th inning, we're about to see Matzik, or we're about to see.
So what I'm getting from this is Max Fried's going to close games.
No, but I don't think you go as rigid as this is my 7th inning guy. I think you look at all those guys, Luke Jackson, all of them, say, look, you are the night shift. You are when we need you, come in.
Do you think Bobby Cox or Leo Mazzoni actually had to make? Was it still Leo Mazzoni at that point with O'Flaherty and those guys? Like, do you think they even had?
If it was. I don't think so.
Do you think they even had to like lift the phone up, or do those guys just know?
They probably already do. It's like, hey, and even it now. Of course, that was a different game too because you didn't have the 3-batter minimum and all that kind of stuff that's been instituted now. So, I think again, you have so much flexibility that if I'm Kyle Wright, if I'm Kyle Muller, if I'm Sean Newcomb, and I get to start like. The bar is not very high. Like you see what I'm saying? Like for what we need you to do, the bar is simply don't go out there and have a Mike Fultonavich 10 run.
Are you saying C's get degrees?
You joke, but yes, in this case, yes. You go out there and give up 2-3 runs with our offense and the bullpen, you're going to have a great chance to get a win and give us a chance to win. And you don't have to be elite. You don't have to be on that Max Fried, Mike Soroka, Charlie Morton level for us to win. We just need you to not be awful. Right? Go out there and give us a quality start, and you're going to have a great chance to win.
Gotta love baseball. All right, programming note before I let you go. Are we going to have any preseason baseball games on?
Saturday we will. The basketball still going on, so we'll have the Elite 8 games Saturday and Sunday. But before the Elite 8 action starts on Saturday, we will have Braves baseball tomorrow starting at 12:55.
There you go. So you get a chance to just sit back, listen to the dulcet tones of Ben Ingram here on the Braves radio network.
It's supposed to be a beautiful weekend along the coast. So
let's get
nothing better than bright sunny skies and the Braves game.
And a little bit of Ben Ingram in your ear. We got to go to break. We'll come back with more right here on Second Down. Second Down on ESPN Radio is presented to you by the Uniform Source. Christian Gokel wrapping things up here on a Friday, getting you ready for a big edition of 3 and Out. Kevin Thomas and Ben Troop coming up next. They apparently Goran Vidak didn't ghost me. Apparently he just moved on to bigger and better things, mainly 3 and Out. Also going to be joined by Jacob Davis of Arkansas Fight as the Razorback Pig Suey take down the Zags last night in the Sweet 16. A little bit later in the show, we'll be joined by Connor Riley of Dog Nation, breaking down Georgia spring practice as Georgia getting ready for the G-Day game. And apparently the G-Day game just got a whole lot more interesting with some news coming out that one Carson Beck has been getting some reps with the ones in Georgia spring practice. And not just, hey, every now and then, Carson, you can get in there and get someone Stetson's going to water. Nope. Carson Beck earning some reps with the one. So things getting interesting up there in Athens, but we got 3 and Out coming up next right here on ESPN Radio. Hope everybody enjoys their weekend. If you miss any portion of our show or you miss any of our stuff, you can check it all out on ESPNcoastal.com, YouTube, Spotify, SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcast, you can find us.